This is a great play call. It's understanding the situation. It's great execution by them. I can't wait to break this down in the next couple minutes. Awesome effort by the full offense to get down there, get that ball clocked.
Later in the third, 2nd and goal from the 4, and Goff to Cam Akers for the touchdown, his first of his career.
The thing that's great about that play, Laura, is how quickly the ball came out of Goff's hands. Touchdown again for that Los Angeles offense.
Ensuing drive, just over 3 minutes left in the game. It's 3rd and 1, and Goff once again to Cooper Kupp. That target worked well all night.
Stop me if you heard this. Great design by Sean McVay. Ball comes out early for Jared Goff.
There's Matt Gay for 40 yards. By the way, he said he can bench 225. I'm not even sure if Dan can. In fact, I know Dan can't do that.
Yep.
Rams go up 27-24. Bucks last possession, down 3. Could they make something happen? But not so much for Tom Brady.
Yeah, Brady forcing that ball down the seam for a single high safety. Preferred that ball go underneath. He had plenty of time.
More on Tom Brady and the Bucks struggles later on in the show. But let's talk about these Rams. And we showed you Cooper Kupp. Robert Woods accounted for 275 of the Rams' 376 passing yards between those two. 147 of those yards come after the catch. And this really isn't something new for Kupp and Woods. The two actually rank among the top 5 receivers in the league in yards after the catch this season. No wonder Jared Goff likes to target them and get the ball in their hands in space. So, Mina, you see those numbers from Woods and Kupp. What impressed you so much about the game plan that involved them so well?
You know, Laura, as I was watching Jared Goff and Tom Brady, I was thinking about the time they faced off in the Super Bowl. And, of course, Bill Belichick got the better of Sean McVay in that 13-3 game. That was a thriller I think about often. Because the Patriots did what the Patriots do, which is they changed all of their tendencies in that game. It was a coaching masterstroke. And afterwards, Sean McVay looked a little shell-shocked. Well, last night, you saw the young coach change his tendencies all throughout the game. Orlovsky and I were texting each other, oh man, Goff's still in the gun? Wow, he's getting the ball quickly. Wow, they're really throwing it this much? They're deviating from the things they normally do, and that's brilliant coaching by Sean McVay. I mean, the Bucks are blitzing Jared Goff 40% of the time, but they only got pressure 16% of the time because the ball was coming out of his hands so quickly on screens, on sprint outs. He was just not there for them to get to, and it worked. It was a tremendous game plan, well executed, but tip of the cap to Sean McVay for a brilliant coaching job.
Yeah, an example of why Mina's so smart, because she's spot on. Like, okay, so let's go into the game and think Sean McVay's thought process. I'm going into the game on the road without my left tackle against a team that's got a dominant front. So maybe I got to run the ball. No, Sean McVay's like, no, I'm not going to run the football. I'm going to throw the heck out of the football, but it's going to happen quickly because the ball is going to get out of his hands. And also, maybe they'll do play action pass. No, because in play action pass, you got to hold the football for a long time. So he doesn't expose his offense's big weakness potentially against the strength of the defense. But then you go into the situational awareness. And I want to break down the field goal play or the play that leads to the field goal right before the half, because it's the perfect example. If you're an NFL team and you want to see what a team looks like that's well coached, that has a very clear plan, and then selfless players to execute it, watch this play because it's the difference of the ball game. Okay, so the Rams are going to come out in their empty set. 2 receivers up top, 3 at the bottom. I call Sean McVay the best clue grabber in the NFL. Now he teaches Jared Goff, go to the front. What does the front tell you? Well, 4 defensive linemen, and those linebackers are in the double mugs, the double A gaps. Clue number 1, here comes the pressure look. Now I'll put my back in the slot. Matched by a safety. Clue number 2, double mug pressure, and now you're in man coverage. So man coverage, you've got him. Robert Woods, you're going to get covered in man. Cooper Kupp, there's your guy. Now Gerald Everett, where is the guy that has to cover you in man-to-man coverage? He's right here, Winfield Jr. Why are you all the way back there, bro? Well, you're all the way back there because you're trying to sell. You're trying to disguise coverage. So double mug pressure, man-to-man coverage, and now it's zero blitz. He's going to tell Jared Goff, you get that in this situation. Let's get this tunnel screen down to the bottom of the screen. Now, let's go to Robert Woods, because this is so well done, the selfless execution. Now, when you have this tunnel screen, you can't just go right now if you're a receiver. You've got to sell this off the line of scrimmage. I need you to push up a little bit. When you push up a little bit, that corner in man-to-man coverage has to bounce back a little bit. Well, why does he have to bounce back a little bit? Well, Cooper Kupp, your job is to go block that corner. And Gerald Everett, your job is go block the guy that's playing Cooper Kupp in man-to-man coverage. But it's got to be in sync. Everyone's got to be detailed. You tell me, Robert Woods, you push up. That's so great. Now you two, Cooper Kupp and Gerald Everett, you guys have to come flat down the line of scrimmage. Well, why do they have to come flat down the line of scrimmage? Because if they don't come flat down the line of scrimmage, these defenders, these guys can play underneath those blocks. If these guys went upfield, these guys would be able to undercut and get that play, and it's done. These guys, you tell me. I told you Cooper Kupp and Gerald Everett need to go flat down the line of scrimmage. Does it look like they do? Flawless. Flat down the line of scrimmage. Go make your blocks. Now, right tackle, Havenstein. You have to have eyes on that safety, Winfield Jr., that's covering Gerald Everett in man-to-man coverage. You got to have vision on him because he's hunting as well. So Robert Woods does his part. He pushes up. These two guys, Gerald Everett and Cooper Kupp, you're flawless with your execution. Now, Robert Woods, finish it because I called this what? A tunnel screen. This looks exactly like a tunnel. Tunnel, tunnel. Backside. Robert Woods, now your job, you've got to hug that tunnel. You've got to get right on the back sides of these blocks. Hug that tunnel and shoot. Now comes decision-making time. You want to know why Robert Woods is one of the best players in the NFL? Right here. Because this ball, he's on the ground right there. You tell me who's the first one up. Who's the first one off the pile? Because here's the reality. This ball, before the half got snapped with 1 second left on the clock. You don't think that effort is the difference between this ball getting spiked and the field goal getting up in a three-point win? It's the absolute difference. Very clear coaching, very clear plan, and great selfless execution by the Rams all night long. An absolute masterclass by Sean McVay.
And the reason why I was dumb enough to pick against the Rams in this particular game, Dan, was because we saw against Miami, Jared Goff got absolutely obliterated by the zero blitz. But what I didn't account for, again, because I'm a big dummy, is that they would make adjustments. That Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the NFL. I'm so glad you highlighted Woods there and the other receivers, though, because I think it's probably the most underrated group of pass catchers in the NFL. It's become a bit of a cliche when we talk about how selfless they are, how good they are at blocking. But what you just saw there is why all of those little things matter so much towards executing a play like that. The timing, the heads-up football, noticing the clock, the blocking, all of the receivers on the Rams, including their new one, the rookie Van Jefferson, they can all do that.
Yeah.
They can all execute that scheme to perfection. So we can praise the coach and we talk about how brilliant McVay is. But without players who can execute his vision, nothing would happen.
And by the way, we were all dummies, all three of us here, because we all three picked against the Rams. The only person yesterday on this show that picked the Rams was Ryan Clark. Hey, plenty of talk about the offense, too. But by the way, don't forget about the Rams defense. Ranks top 2 in the NFL in efficiency in yards per game and points per game. So a lot there, too. Let's bring Adam Schefter in now for the latest news around the league, beginning with the COVID situation for the Ravens. Just a couple days away, Adam, from their game against the 10-0 Steelers.
Yeah, this is getting more and more problematic, Laura, right now. The Ravens this week have had 5 players test positive and be placed on the reserve COVID-19 list, the latest being Pernell McPhee, who was added there this afternoon. He's out for Thursday night's game. We already know J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, the 2 running backs are out of Thursday night's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Additionally, 4 staffers have tested positive as well, and they are doing contact tracing to see if it is spread anywhere else in the organization. The amazing and unforgiving part of this virus is the Ravens have done a great job of social distancing, testing, protocols, all of that, and yet they are still being hit hard this week. Now, as of now, the game still is on Thursday night in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. If there are more positive tests, obviously the game would become in jeopardy. It's not right now, but again, this bears watching as the week goes on, as 5 Ravens players and 4 staffers have now tested positive this week.
Yes, certainly something to keep an eye on. Also, Adam, just a horrible situation with the Cowboys today. What more can you tell us?
Their head strength and conditioning coach, Marcus Paul, was rushed to the hospital this morning. The Cowboys shut down their facility, basically said all on-field activities would be canceled. They have the game on Thanksgiving Day against the Washington football team. To do that 2 days before tells you a little bit about the gravity of the situation. Now, Marcus Paul's family have told people that basically